Good morning. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us for another edition of the Morning Breeze, man. Always rocking with you guys, as always, man. Outside of me, I got my guy, Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, in the building. That's right. Truly is nothing. And I mean nothing. Like ESPN list season, baby.
Seriously.
I just love a good list season. You know what I'm saying? I
know.
Is there anything better? As ESPN has a shockingly low ranking on the Chicago Bears weaponry. And it seems like it comes purely from, oops, I made a mistake last season. We'll talk about that and where we think this Bears team's weapons should rank this season. And then we got to take a look at what PFF had to say about the Chicago Bears. Offensive line in a territory that Jordan JC, I don't think I can remember ever starting a season with. PFF not only high on the Chicago Bears offensive line, maybe getting some Bears fans high with this expectation.
Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, the date is 7/8/2025, 7:03 in the morning. And Jordan JC, I just got one thing to say to you. Take off the glasses. We know you're still asleep under there. I knew it. It's basically Ray Charles under there. It's just dark. Little Stevie Wonder action.
Oh.
Shout out Stevie. Oh, my Cherie Moore over there.
That man can see. That's all I'm going to say.
That man can. He definitely can see. I don't know.
Gave Jamie Foxx that all-time award very, very efficiently, I should say.
Bro, I was cracking up at Jamie trying to go at it. He's like, okay, he can't see. He worry about Stevie. He can't see me. Look at him. I was like, that's wild. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in to the show. Love it. That like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do.
Come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
You heard what she said.
You heard what Sue Young said. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. How you feeling this morning, JC?
Oh, feeling good. I'm here on time, guys. You know,
You did show up on time. Good job. Yeah, what you want, a cookie for doing your job the right way?
Yeah, I would like a cookie. I'd like a.
You seem like a
matter of fact, I
7
want
a.m.
a
cookie
steak.
guy.
Hey, well, you know, I eat anything I want at 7 a.m. You all got on me for the pork and beef and hot dogs.
The beans is
Might as
still
well
crazy,
try.
bro. Beans might be the craziest thing at
I
7
don't
o'clock
care.
in the morning.
I don't care what you judge.
You out there knocking down some pickle, brackle and fizzy.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, fizzy wickets. It's all going right. Yeah. I'm all good though. Let's get it.
Let's get into the conversation, man. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Appreciate you guys for rocking with us as always this morning. Bill Barnwell put out his ranking on NFL wide receiver, tight end, and running back groups for 2025, the best and worst teams. And how he broke this down, according to his estimation, he said this is only about 2025 on-field performance. He's leaving stuff like contract value, long-term projections, all of that out of the equation. He's taking injury history and suspensions into account here. So yeah, there's a lot of gambling going on around the sport. So if you've been suspended for gambling, maybe you're a little bit lower on the list. And he also says wide receivers are weighted more heavily than running backs or tight ends. So Jordan JC, sounds like the Chicago Bears should be pretty high on this list if we're being real, right? I mean,
they got a lot of weapons. Yeah,
a lot of weapons, a lot of good wide receivers. Seems
a lot
like
of good wide
receivers better.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least based on what he said, tight end group seems pretty solid there as well. Chicago Bears come in ranked 25th on this list. Bottom 7 in the NFL, according to Bill Barnwell, where he had the Bears ranked 6th last season. And this is what he had to say to his 2024 rankings. They did not go well. The Bears got disappointing performances from just about every one of their skill players, with veteran wide receiver DJ Moore and Keenan Allen looking as if they were running underwater or wishing they were. In a scheme, that's pretty funny. I ain't gonna lie. In a scheme that didn't play to either strengths, rookie first rounder Rome Odunze simply wasn't throwing many catchable balls. Pause. As his 58, it actually says pause in the article. I'm joking. As his 58.9% expected catch rate was the league's 6th lowest for receivers with at least 100 targets. He managed only a 54% catch rate, which suggests he wasn't an entirely innocent party in the equation. The arrival of new coach Ben Johnson suggests the offense will be put in a much better position to succeed. And indeed, it will hardly be a shock if the Bears go from one of the league's worst schemes to one of the best. He also brought out, it seemed like DJ Moore was growing numb in his 7th consecutive losing season. Johnson needs to find a way to build a fire under him and find a way to create yards after catch opportunities for rookie second rounder Luther Burden III, who will take over Allen's role in this lineup. So essentially there is a lot of, well, they could do some things. It feels like they might. Ben Johnson's here, but I got burned by this team last season, and so I'm going to put them low. But reasoning that he gave, I can't be mad at. Jordan JC, do you agree with Bill Barnwell in this conversation where if you look at just what the Bears did last season, the 2 veteran wide receivers now on this roster, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, underperforming last season. We know everything that went into it. You add in a bunch of rookies. Essentially, Cole Kmet wasn't even a part of the receiving crew last year, pretty much. And I mean, when you get into the running back conversation, I didn't even read the running back part because everybody's just gonna say I suck. Because I was like, oh, Pat hates running backs. Like,
I was just about to say, it goes right along with your money.
Do you feel like this ranking is out of pocket? You feel like this is kind of valid information that Bill's giving here?
I'll actually go along with it. It's valid because of the way he ended the conversation. He didn't just kind of crap on them for the down year that they had last year. A lot of people had high expectations because the roster looked very, very good on paper. When you acquired Keenan Allen for a 4th rounder, everybody was getting excited and said, oh, you paired that guy up, a consummate pro, one of the best route runners, one of the best receivers in the league for a long time, with DJ Moore and Rome Odunze and Caleb Williams, this just generational talent coming into the league. He can do no wrong. Everybody expected greatness, and the receivers were talking about, race to 1,000. We're all going to get 1,000. Like, he had 3 Pro Bowl wide receivers, right? The talk was loud, but then by the end of the season, everything kind of fizzled out. Nobody got over 1,000 yards. I believe DJ Moore was the closest. Rome Odunze came on stronger at the end. He was more reliable at the end. And then, of course, Keenan Allen probably was your most reliable receiver when it came time for, clutch passes, 3rd down passes, things of that nature. But overall, no. This offense in general, it didn't pan out. It didn't do what it was supposed to. Shane Waldron was a complete failure. Matt Eberflus was a complete failure. Caleb Williams underperformed by many people's expectations, even though he did have a very good year comparatively for a Bears rookie quarterback and navigating through all of that mess that was going on. And so I understand why people are saying, well, you know what? We're going to kind of lower expectations this year. Let's start them off low, and hopefully they get to where we think they'll get to instead of us hyping them up this time. Because I do like the way he ended it. He said, hey, Rome, he could come into his own. You have Luther Burden. You've acquired what's your boy's name for Washington? Yeah, Colston Lovin. Thinking of the other receiver from Washington, Lamade Zaccheaus. Like, you have receivers. You have another year, of experience and connection with Caleb and DJ, and so they're thinking that, okay, now with Ben Johnson, with the better coaching staff, assumedly, right, because you now have an offensive genius in the building that has a history of being really good on offense, knowing how it looks, beating some of the best teams in the league and also in this division. And so you put all that together, I think a lot of people are saying, let's wait and see. It's the wait and see approach this year, but they have the potential to get right back up to where everybody had them last year.
Yeah, and listen, I think that when you look at the Bears, like there's a lot of hope that the Bears are going to be good. There's a lot of potential that the Bears wide receivers are going to be good. Listen, I do believe if you get the ball into their hands, which just wasn't done enough last season, that they are going to take a step in the right direction. I believe that if you put the ball into DJ Moore's hands, guess what? He usually tends to go forward. If you get the ball into Rome Odunze's hands, he was able to make some big catches, right? Cole Kmet, when we actually decided to throw to him, was a pretty good tight end in the league. So I think that you have to have that conversation as well, but it is still hope, right? It is still want that this team is going to go out there and perform the way that you see them. And I think that Bill's not operating off of hope here. Now, would I say that they have the 25th best weaponry in the league? I don't know if I would put them that low. I mean, some of the teams that you have them behind right now, I would say you have better weapons than the Saints. If we're talking about hope, that's an entire team of hope. They're right ahead of the Bears in that regard. Denver's, give me the Bears weapons over Denver. Chargers is probably where it's at. About 22, they have the Chargers weaponry. 21, they have Pittsburgh. 20, they have Vegas. I think that's kind of in that range where I probably would put the Bears at right there. But I don't hate the list, and I can't sit here and tell you that based off of things that we've seen in football, based off of what we saw last season, based off of the play that we've seen from these players last year, that they're going to come into the league and be top 5. Now, do I believe that they can? Do I think that they have the talent to be? Do I think that with an improved offensive line, which we'll get to that here in a little bit, talking about how PFF is very high on the Bears offensive line in a range that we haven't seen, right? Like, if you're having that conversation, then yeah, I do believe that this is going to take a step forward, but it's still belief. And based on what we've seen, you look at his top 10, and I can't even be mad at Philly 1, Detroit 2, Cincy 3, San Fran 4. Although San Fran, I do think is going to take a step back.
Yeah,
San Fran 4 is a little high, but I'll leave them in there based on I don't know. LA 5, which I think LA could be top 3. I think people are sleeping.
So
on Devontae Adams.
Hookah and Devontae are about going to be a problem.
People are sleeping on Devontae Adams. Minnesota 6, Tampa Bay 7, Baltimore 8, Atlanta 9. Yeah, Mooney, London, Bijan, they all have really good seasons. And then 10, Miami. Like that receiving crew and that running back room and that DB room, I do think I can't be mad at how they've got how Bill has this list set up. I do think there's room for improvement, but none of us have seen a snap of Luther Burden. Heck, we haven't even seen a snap of Luther Burden really in training
ever. Still looking at highlights of Missouri. Yeah. No, I agree with you.
If we being real, we haven't seen a snap of Luther Burden in training camp. We haven't seen a snap of Colston Loveland in training camp, or I'm sorry, in mini camp and OTAs. We got to get to training camp.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's where it's like, once you get there and you can see these guys and you can see the kind of talent they have, you'll probably end up having a different opinion and things may change, but we got to get there first.
You got to get there. Yeah, I think everything that we're excited about now is just based off of the potential of this roster, and that's the word that I go to, is the potential is there to really be exciting. All the teams you mentioned at the top 5 have been doing it for quite some time. Years of success, years of having some of the number 1 receivers, whether it's Jamar Chase or Jettas. You had Brandon Ayuk and Debo and Kittle on the 49ers at one point. Lamar Jackson now has some weapons as far as, receivers. And of course he has his tight end and Mark Andrews still. So, I do agree that those are the standards when it comes to, and of course, Philly as well. You can't forget them. But when you look at it from a broader perspective outside of the wide receivers, that's where I have the question marks, which is why you probably didn't even go into the running back conversation, because that's where we talked about the question marks being even yesterday.
That's where it drags you down.
Yeah, it's like, are you utilizing all of your talent? When we're talking about Roschon Johnson, is he finally going to have a year where he actually can prove himself to be that secondary bell cow, guy that gets the hard yardage, guy that gets the goal line work. He can be a Jamal Williams type when we talked about bringing him in instead. Like, those are the question marks that I want to have answered this year. I think that's where a lot of the doubt is too. And for me, is at least, is what is that going to look like? What is DeAndre Swift going to look like with an improved O-line? And even though we're going to get into how good the O-line seemingly is, is DeAndre Swift going to look better? Is he going to have a, better production? Because we know that there are some times where he fails to see the lane. He fails to see the hole. And so that's where it is with me. And then, of course, the tight end room. We know Cole Kmet has the talent, has the ability to be a top 10 tight end, but hasn't put it all together. A lot of it I blame on just the outside reasons, the quarterback not getting him the ball enough, the schemes not really using him consistently from week to week. And then, of course, you have Colston Lovin, who, like you said, hasn't taken a snap in the NFL. So there's a lot of what ifs and there's a lot of potential on this team.
And listen, there's a lot of this is because of around the league, right? Like, again, by the way, Jordan JC, I don't know if you know this or not, but good morning. Hit that like button, right. Subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Yeah, listen, if JD5, who has changed his name to Greek God, which is weird, but we know it's him because he's glazing JD at every second he can. And Jimmy Hoffa can hit that like button. Can the Bears fans hit that like button? Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, that's right.
I think when you look around the division as well, when you look around the NFC North, like the Detroit Lions being 2, again, this is not just wide receivers. You take the running backs into account. Detroit Lions coming in 2, not a surprise there. I think that when you look at the Minnesota Vikings, where they have the Vikings at? Vikings ranked.
I thought you mentioned them like 3rd or 4th.
I thought so too, didn't I?
Yeah, no, you did.
But my point is, as I tried, Minnesota Vikings end up coming in 6. Packers end up coming in 17. Listen, the Packers don't have good wide receivers.
17th.
Packers come in, but the running game is phenomenal.
Okay, I'll give them that. All right,
when you look at the Packers running game, the running game is phenomenal. And so I think that's where you sit there and you look at, this is in totality. And dare I say, when you get to that running back room, that is the part that is pulling the Bears down.
Mm-hmm.
That is the part that that has the most question around this team. That was the least addressed issue of the offseason. And if we're being real, you're going into it with a running back in DeAndre Swift, who you have a lot of question marks on. And you don't know if he's going to have this bounce back 5.5 yards per carry season that he had in 2022 with Ben Johnson, or if he's going to be the DeAndre Swift that you saw last season. You're also betting on the other running back who, listen, I would love to see him. We had the conversation yesterday. I'd love to see Roschon Johnson finally be that guy that goes out there and dominates. Roschon Johnson can't stay on the field. He can't stay healthy. He has concussion issues, and he's a between the tackles running back.
Yeah, it's not a good pairing.
And so for me, that is where you have the biggest question marks. Listen, I feel good about Kyle Monangai. I think Kyle Monangai is going to be solid at the NFL level. I think he's a nice pickup in the 7th round. He's one of the better running backs in the Big Ten. But this ain't the Big Ten. You ain't going up against, former accountants or future accountants, I guess I should say. You know what I mean? Like that. I think that's the thing for me when I look at the Bears roster, where I can't even hate on where Bill Barnwell has us ranked right now, because there's a lot of potential. There's a lot of hope. And I think most of that lies in the running back room.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I'm going to be honest with you. I like this positioning. I like being in a doubted position.
Okay. All right. All right. I was like, choose them words wisely there.
Hey, salute. It's all right. Already messed me up. Great clipping.
It'll be a home run.
That was, I ain't gonna lie, that was the funniest clip I've seen in a long time. But my thing is, like, I like being in the position of we're the underdog, we're doubted, because Yes, everybody was hyped. And honestly, there's been a lot of hype from the national media with the Bears for the last couple of seasons, whether it was when, Justin Fields came into his own and then, they thought that, him in his second year, I believe, or the year after he had the 1,000-yard rush season and he broke the single game record for rushing yards from a quarterback. Like everybody thought, oh, okay, this is the year that they're putting it all together. They're going to be special. He's going to turn into an MVP candidate. Things of that nature were talked about in the offseason before the season started, and then it fizzled out. And so now we're talking about last year where, you get all these weapons, you get Keenan and you got DJ and you get Rome and everybody's just who you're going to block, who are you going to guard? Caleb just has all these options. It's just going to be just 40 points just by halftime all the time. Everybody was excited. I love the fact that now everybody's saying, pump the brakes. This team has some work to do. This team has to prove it to us. I love being in a prove it situation where now, okay, yes, we may have a really, really good team on the roster. We may have an elite coaching staff, but none of it has come together. We've never worked together before, in the real deal, in the real season. And so now it's almost like everybody's doubting us. Let us be the dark horse. Let us be the underdog. And then let us prove to everybody that we should be special. We should be up there with the elites.
Yeah. We'll see what ends up happening. You know who else is loving this opportunity is old. It's going to be fun.
I want to see that smirk all season.
He's relishing in this. He's excited about this. And again, we talked about it, right? Like he's inviting the smoke. He's inviting the beef.
Yeah.
I ended up talking with Matt Schneidman yesterday on the Chicago Bears podcast, and he was talking about the fact that walking in the door, Ben Johnson is taking shots at Matt LaFleur, and he was like, you better win because LaFleur did not take that kindly. LaFleur. He was like, I don't even know this dude. Like, we have not met. We have not talked. This is not like friendly jabs at each other. Like, I don't even know this guy.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, tap into yesterday's Chicago Bears podcast because
pretty good. Pretty good.
There's some juicy information in there. Could this be the last hurrah for Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst?
Uh-oh.
Could
Green Bay's falling apart?
Could it? Well, not really a fall apart. So basically, they do if you turn 70, which I love, if you turn 70, you have to retire. So their president of football is retiring because he turned 70 this year. He's been there, I think, 17 years. So Super Bowl ring in there. Built a lot of good teams. So now, why am I blanking on who's taking over's name? I can't think of his name. It's Bill Polian keeps popping up in my mind. I know that's not it. He's 106. But there is a
Jimmy should know.
Let me see. Ed Policy.
Okay.
Is going to be the new president of football.
Ed Policy,
he may end up making some changes up there in a make or break season, because if we're being honest, listen, I think LaFleur's a fine coach. I think that the Packers have won. This is not going to turn into a Packer Glaze session. They haven't done anything. They're 9-6 and 9-8 under Jordan Love. Because he missed a couple of games there. If you were wondering why I said that, like, they haven't done anything. So it's just me.
I'm just saying.
No, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in to the show. Love. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. The only thing they've done here is this. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's all they've done. They beat one NFC North team last year. Unfortunately, it was us. Hey, man, appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love. We're going to keep the conversation going here as I'll tell you this. When you look at the Bears wide receiving crew, the tight end crew, the running back crew, it's all made a lot easier. Everybody's job is made a lot easier if you are able to block. And that is something the Chicago Bears have not been able to do for a very, very long time. So coming up, we got to talk about PFF being very high on this Chicago Bears offensive line. Unbelievably high, tingly high even. Diabetes high.
Whoa.
I can't feel my fingertips. We'll talk about that coming up next. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and watching the show. Today's episode of the podcast is brought to you by Aura. Have you ever done a Google search on your own name? You'd be surprised what pops up. Your full name, email address, home address, health records, your relatives. It's all out there. And that's why I've been using Aura, the sponsor of today's video. Aura shows me which data brokers are selling my information and automatically submits opt-out requests just for me. Cleaning up my information not only helps reduce the amount of spam I get, but it protects me from hackers who could use that information to help them access my social media, bank accounts, and other sensitive information. It's really simple to set up. I don't have to download several apps or go to things like antivirus, VPN, password management, parental controls, identity theft, but you can get all of that in one place with Aura. I get everything at one affordable price as well. You may already have one or two of these tools, but not having Aura is like leaving the front door locked while leaving the back door and windows wide open. For you to be able to take advantage of Aura, we got a special deal for you here today. Stop data brokers from exposing your personal information. Go to my sponsor at https:/aura.com/the Windy City. Again, that is aura.com/the Windy City to get a 14-day free trial and see how much of your information is being sold. Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Ladies and gentlemen, we got merch. That's right. New website, new merch, all out. We've been telling you guys to pull up on us. Now you can at twcbreeze.com, where you can find out all of the latest stuff going on. What all can they find there, Super Producer?
Listen, you can join the nation, sign up to our mailing list, and be up to date for events and news. You can also visit the shop page and order merch, because we have t-shirts, we got hoodies, we got mugs, we got hats, we got all kind of stuff. So, hey, we appreciate you being tuned in with us. And remember to subscribe to our YouTube page and follow us on all our socials. Check us out at twcbreeze.com.
He's way too excited.
I am.
King Booker World. Frantic boss music coming in 3, 2, 1, action.
Everybody looks forward to our ass.
Will I pass this level without dying again?
Boss battle's hard, man. That boss, you got to get past Super Producer. You got to get past them.
Oh, man. Welcome back, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. We got 150 in the YouTube side, 36 likes on the video.
Oh, come on now.
Come on, baby. Let's get those likes up. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Just got done talking about how low ESPN is on the Chicago Bears weaponry heading into this season. Now let's talk about somebody who's high. I'm not talking about Jordan JC behind those glasses. PFF having a very, very high feeling around this Chicago Bears offensive line. Jordan JC, not only does the Chicago Bears offensive line per PFF rank top 5.
Oh boy.
Jordan JC, they're not 5.
Oh, okay. So wow. What?
Chicago Bears offensive line. Let me give you the top 5 here. Number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles.
Okay, that makes sense. All right.
Number 2, the Denver Broncos.
Oh, okay.
Number 3, the Buffalo Bills.
All right.
Coming in at number 4, your Chicago Bears.
Oh, look at that.
Now, where I do get nervous is number 5 is the Indianapolis Colts, and it's like, all right, what are we doing to use this ranking here? What we doing?
There's that Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly. All right.
I like that. I like Cribs' comment. It's paper football focus. Come on.
Well, Phil, hey man, you gotta trust him every now and then.
Listen, wait till I read it. You know what I mean, there's still There's still some Braxton glazing going on.
Oh, his cousin's still up there. His cousin's
A
still
little
up there.
bit. The things are set to look different in Chicago. Not only is the offensive line remolded, but it also perhaps the most improved unit in the NFL. Braxton Jones and Darnell Wright, who both finished among the 22 highest graded offensive tackles in 2024, were already a promising young duo. Promising.
You put some respect on it, all right? You stop that. You stop. That's true, Boxy. I told you Bobby Jones works up there. His cousin.
I'm just so confused. Now the unit has 3 new interior starters who represent immediate upgrades. Trade acquisition Joe Thuney has been the best pass blocking guard in the NFL in recent years, and free agent center Drew Dahlman ranked among top 5 at his position in PFF's overall grade in each of the past 2 seasons. If right guard Jonah Jackson could stay healthy and get back into his old form, this can be one of the NFL's top offensive lines. Jordan JC,
Oh boy.
you know how we feel about PFF here on this show.
Yeah, we do.
And
Love
I'm going to
it.
be honest with you. Braxton Jones may not even be the starting left tackle by the time this season gets here.
Nah.
But Jordan JC, are the Chicago Bears set up to be a top 5 offensive line in the NFL this season?
It's funny. We just talked about lowering expectations and kind of coming under the radar. And now we just completely
Flip the script, baby.
Yeah, the ganja's out. They're like, dude, full ganja.
Over 200 in a
Hey, whoa!
200. Yeah, I'm turned up on this one. Top 5 offensive line.
All right, let's go. No, I look. Honestly, if there was any part of the team, I do agree with the first part of the article or the explanation of the Chicago Bears being in the top 5 and not 5, being at number 4, is that it perhaps is one of the most improved units in all of the NFL because of just how bad it was. That's how bad the offensive line was the previous years. And we still have a few people from that bad offensive line. Not saying that Darnell Wright and Braxton Jones are putrid. Obviously, Darnell Wright he was very good his rookie season. He had some ups and downs his secondary season. But Braxton Jones has already kind of matched his ceiling, and there's those question marks. And then, as you said, we don't know if he's actually going to start at left tackle. Ozzie Trujillo is coming for his spot. And then you got Karan right behind him. So that's where the question marks come. Now, here's why I think the Bears are clearly all the way up at the top with some of the elite offensive lines. You do have an all-pro guard in Joe Thuney, who has been, yes, one of the best at his position and at pass blocking and at run blocking in the NFL for quite some time. It was a steal when we got him. I did not think that he would be available. I didn't realize that Kansas City didn't want him, but I understand the dump off of the money and the things of that nature. They had to go money into into I believe Trey Smith and other positions, and so that made sense. That just kind of fell in our lap. Then you have Drew Dahlman, who they mentioned is one of the top 5 at his position. So when you get a top 5 player at their position, yes, of course your ranking is going to skyrocket. My diamond in the rough, or my I think the X factor, is Jonah Jackson, because when Jonah Jackson was with Ben Johnson the last time in Detroit, that's when you saw him at his best. That's when you saw him thrive at the run blocking, and he was used the right way. When he went to LA, that's when things kind of fell off, and I believe he was at center. Correct me if I'm wrong, but
they moved him over to center, and then no, they had him at right guard. The right guard was better because he was a rookie. They moved him to center, and he was banged up, and it just kind of didn't fit.
It didn't fit. It didn't fit. So you took him out of role. You took him out of his comfort zone, and that's where, he kind of fizzled out there. So hopefully now he's coming back to form. He's healthy again, and that's where I think you'll have that uptick in this center. Those 3 in the middle there, that's where I think this line can be very special. Especially with it being just completely putrid. We talked about how much money they used to put into the offensive line. They dumped a lot of money into this offensive line. And of course, with the money comes good players. Now with the good players comes better rankings, and the people believe that now this is a unit that can finally do what you're supposed to do in the NFL, block for your quarterback. So it could be special. I'm fine with this ranking.
I think what does give me some excitement that this could be real for me is, and listen, I get it. We look at our tackles and we go, oh my God, look at these guys. They suck.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of great tackles in the NFL right now. Like, let's be great tackles. Jordan Mailata.
Two of them are on the
best
Eagles.
tackle in football, right? He's probably the best tackle in football.
Yeah.
Tristan Wirfs is probably right up there with him.
I like
by the
Tristan
way,
Wirfs.
I don't know if you saw this, Jordan JC, but he can jump out of a pool. It's a lot.
Oh, is that right?
It's a lot more fun to see a guy be able to play football first and then go, oh, also he can jump out of a pool.
Oh, and then have that video later
Then
instead
do
of
it the other
backwards.
way.
Yeah, okay, gotcha. Okay.
I would say you probably got Rashawn Slater. You probably got Trent Williams up there.
Oh, yeah, Trent's still up there.
I mean, Eagles, other side is Lane Johnson, so that makes sense. Panay.
So, yeah. That's a good one.
I'm
trying to think.
Who else is great? I mean, great. Like you don't have a lot of great tackles in the NFL.
Christian Darrisaw
in there.
Yeah, he was hurt, but yeah, he's
still great.
Laramie.
I think Tunsil's really good. I don't know if he's great.
Maybe.
I say all that to say, when you talk about great, there's not 15 names that I'm pulling up.
Yeah.
I think the NFL is to a place where you need to have solid tackles, which I do think the Bears have in Darnell Wright. I think Darnell Wright can be a great tackle as well. He can get his name into that list, but you need to have solid tackles at on both sides, which I think the Bears could have this season. Even if you had Braxton Jones out there, I've said this, Braxton Jones is solid in the run game. I think that's very serviceable for the Bears this season. In the pass game is kind of where you get scary. The interior of the offensive line is where you need to be your best at. And right now with Drew Dahlman, who was a PFF fan favorite last season, with bringing in Joe Thuney, who is elite, who is an all-pro, who is top. He probably is the best at his position, if not top 3 at his position. Like you are having that conversation around guys who are actually in that elite conversation at their position on the interior for the Chicago Bears offensive line. And that's what I think gives me more confidence heading into this season, that this season is going to go well. Again, if y'all go back through the Breezes history, every year around this time, go into the training camp videos and just watch me just go, yeah, I just love to see them add another offensive line piece. I just love to see them go out and address the offensive line. I just love to see them make an impact with this offensive line. And we just haven't seen it consistently enough.
Yeah.
And so to me, the interior of this offensive line being improved with solid pieces on the outside, I'm not worried about Darnell Wright. The big worry is left tackle. If you're telling me that my right tackle, right guard, center, and left guard are solid, I feel good about that. I feel like I'm in a better place. Do I got to figure out left tackle? 100%. That's why I went out and drafted one in the second round.
I think that's where, and again, I go back to the potential on this team. You have those that have already kind of solidified themselves as tops at their position in Joe Thuney, as you mentioned, top 3. I'm right there with you. Drew Dahlman, top 10. Jonah Jackson potentially could be a top 10 guard if he puts it back together and returns to form. Darnell Wright, I think, could be potentially a top 10 right tackle. As young as he is, I think he can kind of, put his stamp on being a household name at that position. And then even though Braxton Jones is the question mark, I think even if you replace him, I think that's where the potential for this line to be even better can come into play, because now Isaac Trujillo could potentially be an even better piece at that left tackle spot. And so that's where I think the excitement is the potential, along with the experience and the consistency of the interior of this offensive line, is why they are high and they are graded high. These guys, they have been blocking and have had high pass blocking and run blocking grades for quite some time. Yeah. And I think that's the excitement, is that's something that we haven't really put together and seen from the Bears offensive line unit in a very long time.
Oh, you stopped right in the middle of me taking a
I was
sip.
about to say I didn't know you were gonna raise the
You
a
got me
little
right there.
thirsty there.
No,
I'm sorry.
I think that's the big thing, right? Like the Bears are in a spot where you've improved the offensive line in a way that it seems unfathomable for this team to do. We haven't seen the Bears improve the offensive line this much since you added Olin Cruz.
How long ago was
Like,
that?
honestly, like it has been that long.
Yeah. You had
We
your
have
moments.
offensive line be a focus for this team. And even then, you still always had struggles at the left tackle position. Like, we haven't seen offensive line be a focus for this team in a long time. And it seems like, again, this is why when people talk about having confidence in Ben Johnson, when people talk about, being able to go out there and feel good about Ben Johnson, when you sit there and go, it's going to be fun. I mean, and you've upgraded from, the clown show that we had in here last year, mister. and I mean, like when you move on from those guys, like those are the moments where you start to feel like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
Oh, this might be something that could be top 5. Oh, this might be something that actually is a working formula that the Bears could actually utilize to become a better team and to even be mentioned in the conversation with some of those top teams. I mean, like Philly, we know what they are. With Jordan Mailata and Lane Johnson, those are probably two of the best tackles in football, right and left.
Yeah.
I mean, like that is where you would love that. And I think they're doing it kind of the old school way where they found their tackles. You've got Dickerson at left guard. You've got Juergens at center, which I think he stepped up in a big way.
Yeah.
And then you were able to roll out there with Steen at right guard. Who is Steen elite? No, but like he's when I got everything else fixed, I'm not as worried about it. But you start to look at some of those other teams, and you're not talking about elite tackles. You're talking about elite interior pieces, and I think that's the big difference. The Bears have finally addressed the interior of this line, the pressure that's coming up the middle at Caleb Williams in his face, and they've given him a center that seems like he's somebody who he can grow with. I think just even if we just take everything else out of it, the center position being addressed is massive.
Major.
For a rookie or a second-year quarterback. It's something you didn't address last season. You were trying to get this team to just make some magic happen, and then you're sitting there every single week with your center falling over his own feet, snapping the football. And Coleman Shelton, like, it makes it twice as hard to do your job. And again, I'm not saying Caleb Williams is completely absolved of everything he did last season, but when you look at the teams that had pretty good center play last year, you usually found teams that ended up being pretty good teams throughout the season.
No, that it goes hand in hand. Yeah, when you have a good center, a good signal caller can call out defenses, can call out certain blitzes from the linebacker position and certain formations. Like, that's elite, and that's something that actually Coleman Shelton, as we mentioned, could do. His IQ for the game was actually very, very good. It's just that he couldn't keep up with the actual job of blocking. And so when you have a center that can do both, that can actually do the full responsibility of a center, we haven't had that in a while. And so that is exciting to see. But even with that, like you talked about the Philadelphia line, the one kind of outlier is Steen. He had the lowest PFF grade, really low at 40. But when you have all-time elite tackles around him, ranked 1st and 5th, by the way, like that's utterly ridiculous. It's almost like you're hiding your problem. And I think that's the biggest thing with the Bears this year is that they've now hidden their problem, or they've addressed most of their problems, but now let's just say left tackle is the weakest link, right? Well, you can hide that because you got an all-pro next to him in Joe Thuney. And you got guys that are vocal. We even talked about the past year where Tevin Jenkins was saying the best vocal leader in the locker room wasn't even the starter on the offensive line unit. It was the guard from the Buffalo Bills. And so this year, you have your vocal leaders. You have your guys that are going to be the guys that are going to be leading the charge on the offensive line that are actually starting, whether it be Drew Dahlman, whether it be Joe Thuney, because he is literally one of the best to do it in the game. Like, not only is they are going to impact with their voice, but they impact also on the field at the same time. I think that's most important as well.
I think I like Howie's comment here. Weakest link is Jonah Jackson, in my opinion. Could be. It honestly could be.
Not better than not more than Braxton. I'm gonna go out on a leash and say no.
Because here's the thing: Jonah hasn't played this position. Jonah hasn't been a right guard. He's been a left guard. So you do have that could be a issue heading into the season, right? Where you're sitting there talking about, somebody who hasn't done this before, who's trying to figure it out. Now, Jonah said he's always practiced on the right side, very similar to how Ozzie talks about playing on the left side. He said, he practiced on the left side, on the right side in LA. And that's kind of where he was preparing if he ever needed to get back in a game where they were preparing to put him back in. I think that's kind of where you see him trying to fit in there. But the thing for me with Jonah Jackson is, let's say Jonah Jackson's just solid at right guard. Joe Tooney don't got 10 years left.
No.
That means that eventually you have your left guard of the future. You can try and address right guard through the draft, or maybe you did. Maybe that's where Luke Newman comes in, although Luke Newman said he wants to be a center this season. But maybe that's where Luke Newman comes in. Maybe that's where Braxton Jones actually fits in on this team at the guard position. Maybe that's where Karana Magaji fits in on this team at the guard position, right? Like, you have so many options moving forward. And I think that not only did you address your offensive line for this season, but I think there's some good forward thinking that the Bears have put together that actually does allow you to have a good offensive line 4 years to come. We'll see what ends up happening throughout the season and when we actually get here. But here in the Bears' top 5 offensive line, I couldn't move on from that and just be like, it's a little thing. It ain't nothing. We never hear that the Bears are going to have a top 5 offensive line. Yeah. I wonder, let me see if I can pull this up real quick before we get up out of here.
What's that?
Where the Bears' offensive line ranked last year, which they always rank high.
Yeah. I'm going to go 29th.
No, I guarantee you, leaving, let's see, final offensive line rank. Let's see what a Bears offensive line ranked. Not bad. That was a heck of a call. 24th. The final offensive line ranking of the season, 24th last season. Okay. Of course, they're giving Braxton Jones that when they, just gawk 3,000.
That's it.
It's crazy. I don't know how. Never mind. I was about to be crazy. From 24th to 4, moving all the way up.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. So let's prove it. We'll see
what ends up happening. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Hey man, we gonna get up out of here. As we got plenty of content coming you guys' way today, so stay tapped in with us as well. Didn't get to talk about Tannenbaum yesterday. We'll talk about him today. Tap in with us on the channel. Stay tuned in with us, man. As always, for Mr. Media himself, Jordan JC, it's your boy, Fashion Designer. Back at it again. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down. One love. Peace. Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.